Hi guys, welcome back to Paz Pals. I'm Rob. We got the boys Nick, Ricardo, and Mike back, and today we got our special guest for this Super Bowl Sunday, Brian Ramos.
Let's go.
And
Welcome.
hey,
Thanks for having me.
we only have one game to talk about this time.
But a lot to talk about.
Yes, that's for sure. Chiefs versus Bucks. Who wants to go first?
All right.
I can take the leadoff spot on this one.
Go. Please do.
All right. So, I am so excited for this game. I think we could all say that same thing.
Yeah.
In this game, if we're looking purely at my prediction right now, for the Kansas City Chiefs, such a great passing attack, such a great offensive roster overall. Patrick Mahomes is the best quarterback in the NFL right now. Andy Reid, arguably the best head coach, still behind Bill Belichick, but aside from him, the best head coach in the NFL. Those two guys have such a high-powered offense, and I've been saying it for weeks now. This team is what I like to call backbreakers, in the sense that every time they need a play, they get that play. They find ways to break your back week in and week out. They have such a high-powered passing attack with Tyreek Hill, Travis Kelce, and Clyde Edwards-Helaire. All that being said, though, I will be picking the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in this Super Bowl match.
Wow.
Going with the Buccaneers. I have my reasoning. First reasoning is the Buccaneers defense. Such a good front seven, such a dominant front seven. I have that being one of the primary reasons. I think Todd Bowles is going to learn from their Week 12 matchup and adjust accordingly for their game plan. I think that's going to be a huge factor, and I think that if they can get pressure on Patrick Mahomes, it's going to be key. But they have to choose their points wisely. They can't just do it whenever they want, because Mahomes is very good passing against the blitz as well. While we're talking about that front seven, when it comes to rushing the quarterback, I think they're also going to have a huge standpoint, from the sense that Daniel Kilgore is now on the COVID list. Who knows what's up with him regarding COVID? Both their starting offensive tackles are going to be out. Mitchell Schwartz still down with the back injury. Eric Fisher out long-term with the Achilles injury. I think that's going to be huge for this Buccaneers front seven to get to the quarterbacks. And if they can get pressure rushing just four, that's going to be a major advantage for them. While we're talking about the offensive lines too, we can switch it around to the Bucs now. Their offensive line has been playing better in the playoffs and are really coming into their own. Only gave up one sack to the Saints 2 weeks ago, and only one sack to the Packers 2 weeks ago. The Saints was 3 weeks ago, excuse me. So they are playing as good as they've played all season, and they're finally starting to get a running game going as well, as Leonard Fournette has come into his own in the playoffs, rushing for, what do we have here? 93 yards, 1 TD off 19 carries versus Washington, and then 63 yards on 17 carries the week after. And then 2 weeks ago against the Packers, 55 yards, a touchdown on 12 carries. They got to keep that running game going, got to stay well-rounded on offense. And really, my next point is the home field advantage. We've never seen home field advantage in the Super Bowl before, and I'm a firm believer that home field advantage is a major factor in any NFL game. It's going to be a factor in this game, even with a limited crowd. I think that's going to be a huge help to the Buccaneers. And my last reasoning is Tom Brady. Tom Brady, what more do you need to say? Such a clutch quarterback, won so many Super Bowls. I could go on about his history, but you all know it by this point. I have the Buccaneers winning this game.
Okay.
Interesting.
Who's up? Who's picking Chiefs? I want a Chiefs guy.
I'm picking the Chiefs. I don't know if I might be riding solo here, but Nick already said all the points. You know that the Chiefs are explosive. They have all these weapons, and obviously you got to pick your poison. The Bucs defense has to pick their poison when it comes to Travis Kelce or Tyreek Hill. You obviously can't really bracket them both, because then you're left exposed one-on-one with the other players. So I love this matchup. It's just like these teams are very similar. And I think this game is going to come down to whoever has the ball last. And I know both quarterbacks are very, very clutch when it comes to late game situations. I just think it'll ultimately be Mahomes, maybe some sort of scramble towards the end of the game to either ice the game or to get him a crucial first down, something like that. And, Brady obviously doesn't run the ball because he's Brady. He's just not athletic. But, they're just fascinating matchups all around, all over, wherever you look. And so, I think it's going to come down to Travis Kelce, Patrick Mahomes, that connection. So I think that's going to be the big factor for the Chiefs win in this game.
Okay.
I like the points there. I just think that it's something that Nick was bringing up too. I think Todd Bowles has got to definitely find a balance in the blitzes. I mean, you cannot afford to send more than like 6 guys on this Chiefs offense. I mean, you can't afford to have Tyreek Hill, Mecole Hardman, all these speedsters get out in open space. You got to make sure that you have like a nice base in your defense, whether that be through zone or through man. You can't afford to be sending 6 or 7 guys a blitz when you know that they could get beat. Your men could get beat on the outside very easily. I think Patrick Mahomes has the arm to do it. You got the decision making from Patrick Mahomes. He could find the open man through a crowded, pocket. I think the offensive linemen, that might be obviously two like all pro tackles that are out, which could be beneficial to a 4-man rush. But I think definitely it all comes down to Tampa Bay's defense. I think if Tampa Bay's defense finds a nice rhythm and they can only afford to send 4 or 5 guys to get a pass rush on Patrick Mahomes, I think the Buccaneers will find it actually easier. Easier is take that how you want it, but I think it might be easier for them to get the Chiefs off the field. If that happens, then I think the Buccaneers can definitely win this game. So that's why I'm picking the Buccaneers, but I think it's got to be well played by the defensive coordinator in my eyes.
I think a lot of what we're going to see from Todd Bowles is blitz packages down close to the end zone. I think when it's out, in between the 20s, there's not going to be a lot of blitzing. I think that they learned that from Tyreek Hill. What was it, like 260 yards, something like that in their week 12 matchup. They're not. I don't think there's going to be a lot of blitzing going on in the middle of the field. And I mean, with the Chiefs' depleted offensive line, I don't think that they're going to need to send a lot of pressure in the middle of those field to still find success getting into Patrick Mahomes' pocket.
Yeah, I think this game is going to come down to both team secondaries. I mean, you have Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, possibly Antonio Brown coming back, and you have Rob Gronkowski on the blocking and for straight up the middle passes, which he loves to do with Brady, and they have such a good connection. So the corners of the Chiefs are going to have corners, safeties for safeties. There's going to be they have to be locked down in order for not allow any holes for Brady's arm. And I think that Fournette and Ronald Jones may be able to get something going against the Chiefs' run defense, but it's going to be primarily passing. But on the Chiefs side of the ball, I think they are going to be almost 70% passing, as the Bucs have a tremendous run defense, as Nick said, that front 7. But yeah, it's going to be a great game. Going to come down to the last drive, but I think the Bucs have it. Your thoughts, Brian?
Well, you guys all made great points. It's like hard to add to something, but I think like with the Chiefs side of the ball, like Pat Mahomes, most elusive quarterback in the league. He's probably the best quarterback in the league. He can hurt you with his arm. He just has a bunch of tricks on his sleeve. And Tyreek Hill is one of the fastest, and he's a top 5, top 10 wide receiver. Travis Kelce, elite. But then just like on the Bucs side, like they have too many weapons that it's almost unfair. And Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, Antonio Brown, Scotty Miller stepped up. They've also had Rob Gronkowski, OJ Howard. Just their offense is too many weapons that I don't know if Kansas City can contain all of them, especially being that their best player on their secondary is Tyrann Mathieu. And then they lost DeAndre Baker, who tore a bone in his foot. I don't remember what it was, but it's going to be difficult for the Chiefs to contain all those guys. And just like Tom Brady, as you saw from that Falcons Super Bowl, you can never bet against him. Like he'll always have a plan. He'll always know what to do. And Daniel Kilgore, like Nick said, is added to the COVID list, but he's actually going to play. He tested negative. He tested negative for COVID. He's quarantining in his house, and then Saturday he's going to fly with the team. But I just think that's going to be not a distraction necessarily, but just too much chaos and drama to just join your team the day before the Super Bowl, and they lost Mitchell Schwartz, who's an all-pro offensive tackle, and I just think the Bucs D will get after Mahomes at will because it's not even like they're just powerful like that front seven, but they're also extremely fast. They have Levante David, who's an amazing linebacker. They have Shaquille Barrett, who had 19 and a half sacks 2 years ago. They have Devin White, who's one of the most fastest and explosive linebackers. And you have Jason Pierre-Paul, who's resurrected his career in Tampa Bay. They have Ndamukong Suh, who's a powerful force up front. They have Vita Vea, same thing. Sean Murphy Bunting has stepped up in an improved corner. So and they also have that rookie Antoine Winfield Jr. that broke out. So I think Tampa Bay, Todd Bowles is very smart on the defensive end. And I just think that Tampa Bay is too complete of a team and Tom Brady's too experienced in the big game. As good as Mahomes is and as explosive as that offense is, and Andy Reid, top 5 coach, top 2 coach even, they can plan all they want. I just don't think they can do enough to stop the Bucs on both sides of the ball.
Just to go back to the Chiefs for a little bit though, because you brought up the point, Ramos, about the Tyrann Mathieu being like the only guy on the Chiefs, or being the best guy in the Chiefs secondary. I mean, I kind of can see the same script flipped for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I mean, their secondary isn't anything to write home about. And I mean, if Patrick Mahomes does somehow manage to even get some time in there, even if the Bucs are not sending an insane amount of pressure, I think that same thing can hold true, because just as many weapons as the Buccaneers have, I think that the Chiefs have just as many. And I mean, so I don't know if that's necessarily a matchup advantage that the Buccaneers would have over the Chiefs from that sense of what you're saying. Another X factor in this game that I think is going to be incredibly important for the Kansas City Chiefs in this game is going to be Frank Clark up front on their defensive line, because I think a lot of the focus is going to go to Chris Jones, obviously, one of their top players on defense. I think the focus is going to be on preventing him. So I think a lot of the onus is going to be on Frank Clark to create havoc in the pocket for Tom Brady. The way to beat Tom Brady is to make him feel uncomfortable in the pocket, push the pocket, get interior pressure. I think a lot of that's going to fall on Frank Clark, because I think a lot of the focus is going to be on Chris Jones.
Okay.
I mean, Antoine Winfield, just going off your point, Nick, I mean, he might not even be playing. I mean, he's on track to play, but still, even if he does,
and Levante David
yeah,
is also playing hurt as well with that hamstring injury.
Exactly. So who knows if they'll be at full health?
Wasn't there something with Sammy Watkins as well? He wasn't practicing as he was restricted.
He's on track to play, but still not fully 100%.
I know that's another 85%. Slot receiver with experience that they would definitely miss him.
I mean, yeah, he absolutely burned Richard Sherman last year in that Super Bowl. We all remember that. And I mean, he's still also explosive. That's another weapon. If you get him back, I mean, I feel like this Chiefs offense will play better. And that's scary in and of itself, because they're already playing ridiculously well. I mean, so if you had another player like him, another speedster, another experienced player, I mean, it just gives them another advantage. Like Nick said, the secondary isn't exactly the greatest apart from Antoine Winfield. Carlton Davis, I think he allowed a passer rating above 100. So yeah, not great exactly, but
I think we're also downplaying a little bit too how good of a coach Andy Reid is. I mean, we're over here hyping up Todd Bowles as this defensive specialist, which he's a very good defensive coordinator, and I do think that he's going to have a good game plan. But I mean, to think that Andy Reid is going to let himself get outcoached by Todd Bowles straight up like that, I don't think is reasonable. No. When I say that Todd Bowles is going to have a good game plan and come in here, I mean, I think he's going to have a good game plan from the sense he'll keep the Buccaneers close. I think that this is going to be a very high scoring game, and I think that Andy Reid is going to do plenty to get offensive output from his roster overall. And I just think it's going to be one of those things where you have to stop them a few drives, and the Buccaneers just have to keep pace. And at the end of the day, I have faith in Tom Brady to do that, to keep pace with the Kansas City Chiefs. But I think that Andy Reid is going to be a major factor in this game with his coaching ability.
Yeah, for sure. I think he's going to come in with several game plans based on who's getting covered, who can break free, if they're able to contain Patrick Mahomes. Because if they are, they're going to have to focus more on slot routes and not deep down the field passes, little scattering. But containing Patrick Mahomes is no easy thing to do. Very evasive. He's very good at finding the open man. And then you got Clyde Edwards-Helaire, obviously rookie coming in the Super Bowl. I don't even know if he's going to play. Maybe not. But
Might, yeah.
I mean, Rob, yeah, you just brought up his elusiveness, and Ramos, I think you alluded to it as well earlier. And Ricardo, you talked about the possible play at the end of the game you could foresee with him, scrambling out of the pocket, making something happen. So, I mean, along those lines, that's a factor where it's something when we talk about Andy Reid combined with that, and I bring up like the backbreaker, so to speak, is how I call them. I mean, let's just go backwards in time to just last year with that wasp play that they called at the end of the game against the 49ers. I mean, it's one of those things where the Chiefs are going to be in this game. There's no shot where it's going to be, the Buccaneers running away with this game by any stretch of the imagination. It's going to be a close game if the Buccaneers are in it. If the Buccaneers aren't in it, then oh well. Then I picked wrong, and the other three of us picked wrong as well. But this is going to be something where it's going to be a matter of just keeping it close and having faith in Tom Brady at the end of the game because I think that's what it comes down to.
Yeah, and then another coach that we're also forgetting about is Steve Spagnuolo, defensive coordinator for the Chiefs. He's resurrected their defense as of late, and I'm not just saying this because I'm a biased Giants fan, but he knows Brady, and he could have gotten a head coaching job, honestly. He got interviewed for a few jobs, and I think he'll come up with a good strategy as well because 2 years ago, and even kind of last year, the Chiefs were letting up points, but the only reason why they were winning games was because they were just scoring way more. But now it's kind of a balanced team with the Chiefs. I'm not sleeping on the Chiefs too. Don't get me wrong. I think I wouldn't be shocked if the Chiefs win. I just think that the Bucs are a more complete team. But Steve Spagnuolo is a great coach. He'll come up with a good game plan. And also Eric Bieniemy. He's a very good coach as well. The Chiefs, both teams have very solid all-around coaching staffs. It still amazes me how Bieniemy didn't get a head coaching job because, and the biggest knock on him for that was saying that he wasn't the play caller in Kansas City. It was Andy Reid, but Bieniemy still is a great he has the locker room. Everyone says when Reid's not there, he's the guy, and I just think that they'll know how to expose some plays on Tampa Bay, some big plays with that fast Tyreek Hill and just all around beast and Travis Kelce.
All right, well, let me propose a question. What are you guys most looking forward to, I guess? Or what's the specific thing that you're looking for in this game?
A key to the game or a matchup to watch?
Either.
For me, I'll go first if you guys don't mind. For me, it's Tom Brady versus Patrick Mahomes. I mean, the regular season, these it did happen in week 12 and whatever, but I'm looking forward to seeing it in postseason when it's one game on the line, Super Bowl, biggest games of their careers. Tony Romo, I think, said it himself. If Patrick Mahomes wants a chance at passing Brady, he needs to beat Brady. And I know it's a lot of pressure to put on a guy so young. He just got engaged, and whatever, and he's such a young guy, and you can't believe he's already putting this pressure. But we're seeing Father Time here in Tom Brady, greatest quarterback of all time, arguably, and Patrick Mahomes, probably the greatest quarterback in the league right now and for many years to come. And I'm just looking to see two greats right now in past and future going up against each other.
I'm just looking forward to the Tom Brady show. I think we're really going to be treated here. He always puts on a show. He can't throw interceptions this time. That really hurt him last week. 3 interceptions late in the game. Could have easily lost it just based off of those, but just because his defense is so well, they won. If he doesn't throw interceptions, no pick sixes, I think Tom Brady's going to be really fun to watch in this game.
I want to see if the Chiefs offensive line is going to step up and block Shaquille Barrett and Jason Pierre-Paul and all these other guys that are going to be coming at him on the front seven. I mean, that's going to be a big ask for a lot of these guys stepping in for their first Super Bowl and now be playing in such a prominent role against such a good pass rush. That's definitely a matchup I want to watch. They also alluded to it earlier when you flip the field around. I want to see if Frank Clark is going to also be able to step up into this moment and be a reason that he can get after Tom Brady, because I think he is going to be so key in this game. So my eyes are going to be on the offensive line.
Okay.
I mean, looking at it from, I guess, a broad lens, just like I feel like we almost take these two quarterbacks for granted. I mean, like Ramos said, obviously, no, Brady, arguably the greatest quarterback of all time, and Mahomes, the greatest quarterback at the moment. I mean, just look at all the accolades, like all the accomplishments, achievements, and all that. It's just amazing to me. Like Mahomes winning Super Bowl MVP last year, MVP 2 years ago. Brady has also done that several times, and so it's just I don't know if we'll ever see another quarterback matchup like this ever. And I don't know. I dare say that this might be the greatest quarterback Super Bowl matchup ever. It's just that prolific, and we got to enjoy each and every moment of it, because this might be the last one. And I mean, this one is going to settle the series essentially, because they're both tied 2-2 against each other. So, I mean, the winner of this, it's like all the bragging rights. You're the real go. I mean, obviously Mahomes still has a way to go, but still, it would definitely boost it. All that.
Mahomes definitely still has a way to go, but I mean, like you guys have said, this is such a key matchup for both of these guys when it comes to their legacy. And I mean, both of them have to know it, that this is going to be something that's talked about for years past in the NFL. When we get to the 200th Super Bowl, whatever it may be, this is something that's still going to be talked about between these two guys. And I mean, the other thing too for Tom Brady is it's like even though he has been playing for so long and he's going pound for pound with Father Time in the ring right now, eventually his career is going to come to an end. And who knows if he's going to be able to get to another Super Bowl. So this is his shot right now to prove why he was the guy that was important to the Brady-Belichick combo in New England all those years. He may never get a shot to prove it like he will on this stage right now. And I'm not saying that Bill Belichick won't have opportunities down the road to prove why he was just as important. But for Tom Brady, this may be his last shot to do that.
Because we have 5 minutes left, just so you know, Ricardo.
Yeah, no. So I don't know. Let's do some like score predictions, I guess.
Yeah, score predictions, and how about score predictions and Super Bowl MVPs?
Yeah,
Let's do that.
Yeah.
All right, who wants to go?
Not it.
Oh, Nick, you want it?
Not it. No, go ahead, Ramos.
I said you want to go. All right. Well, I think it's gonna be a close and competitive game. Maybe even low scoring. I'm gonna go like a nice 24-20.
Wow. Okay. That low scoring. Wow.
Well, just because I don't expect it to be like that Eagles Patriots Super Bowl where both Foles and Brady were throwing for 500 yards. I just think that these two teams are gonna come out determined on both sides of the ball. You saw where Brady told Levante David, like after he cried and after the championship, we're not done yet. Like that's just 100% team leader motivation. And in the 2019 AFC Championship, like Mahomes in that coin toss, like the game went to overtime, and Mahomes knew the game was over as soon as Brady won the toss. But I think it's going to be like Ricardo, you said, it's who's ever going to get the ball last, and I think it's going to be close and competitive. I think both teams will be aware of that with the play calling. I think, like when Rob said, it's going to be like the Chiefs would come out 70% passing, 30% running. I think it's going to be a little more than that, because if I'm Andy Reid or Bruce Arians, I don't want the other quarterback getting the ball. Like I think the time of possession is going to be key and very important for this game. Oh, and MVP, Tom Brady.
Of course, quarterbacks. It has to be, right?
I'll keep this quick. I'll go real quick. I think it's going to be a very high-scoring affair. I think there's no shot that one of these teams don't go into the 30s at least. I'm going to have the final score being 35-31 in favor of Tampa Bay. I think if Tampa Bay is going to keep up in this game, they're going to have to put up a lot of points. So 35-31 is my prediction. And I think that the MVP is going to be Shaq Barrett on the defensive side of the ball.
Oh, you're going to change it up on us. There we go.
I think he is going to have a big game. No Eric Fisher. I'm not sure what side of the ball. I'm not sure what side of the line of scrimmage he lines up on, but I don't know if he's going to be going up against Eric Fisher or Mitchell Schwartz replacement. But he's going to have a big game, couple sacks, and I think he's going to maybe have a big fumble late in the game that seals his Super Bowl MVP award on Patrick Mahomes. Shaq Barrett, MVP.
Von Miller-esque performance. Wow. Okay. I like that. I'm going to go the other way, obviously, because I said the Chiefs, and I'm going to say 31-28, which I feel like it's definitely could still be higher. But yeah, to keep it short, Patrick Mahomes MVP. So it has to be a quarterback. There's no way it
Okay.
isn't.
Yeah, I'm going Bucks. I'm gonna say 37-34 Bucks.
Ooh, wow.
And I'm putting I want to say Tom Brady, but as a Patriots fan watching him, if he starts out poorly, he'll find another guy who's just gonna go off and carry the game. Like he did it with Blunt, he did it a couple other guys. But I have to say Brady. I have to put him out here. Fournette is not going to do this. I mean, potentially if one of his receivers has a good game, but if he has a good game, Tom Brady obviously had a good game. So, yeah.
You bring up a good point, though. Ricardo. If this is going to be a high scoring game, like you, Rob, and myself think, then yeah, this is most likely going to be a quarterback. But hey, a man can be bold, can he?
I like it though. I like it.
Rob, I thought when you were saying it's going to be someone else, I thought you were talking about my boy Scotty Miller. Maybe him MVP steps up.
Scotty Miller.
Hey,
you know,
Edelman won it.
As long as it's not Antonio Brown or Le'Veon Bell, I'll be fine with it.
Of course, the Steelers fan. Oh goodness, that'd be funny.
I want to see some great catches. That's what I want to see. Some wide receivers putting their life on the line for this ball.
There's gonna be everything in this game, I feel. So, yeah, should be fun to watch.
I'm pumped.
Oh, I am too. I just want it to be Sunday already. God.
Yeah.
All right. I think we'll end it there because we have like no time left. So I guess just check out all the links in the description, stuff like that. Paz and Pals, of course. So we'll see you all soon.
Peace.